And if you look broadly at the picture of the recovery so far in Thailand, and I do want to emphasize that it has recovered. And if you think about recovery as like you get back to where you were before, if you look at most of the indicators, a whole slew of not just GDP, it looks like it's come back to where it was before. So GDP levels back to where it was before. A lot of the different indicators that we track, service production index, so forth, employment and income indicators back to where they were before. But there are some pockets which are lagging, haven't gotten back to where they were before. Noticeably, again, manufacturing production index is softer than before. And things related to tourism, obviously, are still not back to where they were before because we had 40 million tourists a year, and this year last year we closed off at about 28.2, if I remember ballpark, roughly the figure, 28.2 million tourists. So again, the overall picture, one of recovery, but with exception of some sectors, particularly those related to tourism, and still some pockets of weakness, particularly in manufacturing. As to why it's weakness, I mean, I think that your question is an excellent one. It hits it on the nail on the head in the sense that what we see now going forward is that the cyclical tailwinds that we expected to see to kind of help us, add push to the economy and whatnot, are weaker than we expected. We can discuss what those are in particular. And I think the structural headwinds are stronger than we expected. I mean, they're biting more than before. Okay, so what does that mean concretely? In terms of cyclical tailwinds, first and foremost, the kind of thing that we were hoping to see was a stronger pickup for us from the electronic cycle. When in our forecast, we were looking, electronic cycle should be turning. And then we see it starting to turn. We see other countries getting benefits from it, like the Koreas and the Taiwans are doing quite well, Vietnam even and whatnot, but not Thailand. So it's like we're not getting the anisong, the benefits of that pickup as much as other countries. And I think a lot of that has to do, again, with, and this is now a mix of these structural factors as well, that, in terms of where we are in that space, we're concentrated in things that are not, at the leading edge, shall we say, right? I mean, a lot of our electronic exports are hard disk drives and whatnot, and those are kind of old world type stuff. A lot of the pickup now is things that are related to AI and whatnot. And so whoever is in that kind of whole value chain is going to get some benefits, but we're not there. So it's one thing that's contributing to that weaker cyclical tailwind. The other thing that's happening also is, we've seen a nice pickup in the tourism numbers. But there's a but. The spending isn't back. The arrivals have been coming, but the spending really is down, certainly relative to where it was before. That's a combination of a bunch of factors. When I talk to other central bank governors, they're seeing the same thing pretty much in their countries as well, that the tourists are not spending as much as before. Everybody seems to be a bit more cautious, a bit more careful with their spending. And the other thing for us, obviously, is the Chinese aren't coming back. This last year, we closed off at 3-odd million Chinese tourists. Before COVID, we had 11, right? And again, it's partly cyclical, but I think also, which worries me, partly structural, meaning that I think that the Chinese are trying to encourage people to stay at home and not travel abroad and whatnot. And so there is a chance, right, that we don't get to see that 40 million figure for a long time. I mean, that 40 million figure was a peak. And implicitly we kind of feel like, oh, that's normal. We should get back to that. But maybe we don't. Not for a while, right? For a very long time, because things have changed. And the things that have changed, the structural things that have changed, it also we've been talking a lot on the demand side on tourism, but the supply side has also changed. Meaning what? We have very good strengths in tourism, right? We have lovely hotels like this one and whatnot. But there are a lot of competitors out there. And if you look at, again, kind of these tourism development indices, these rankings of this kind of stuff, we see that, we rank pretty well, but we've been like this. Whereas, Vietnam moved up the ranking, Indonesia, they've moved up the ranking. So they're more competitive, basically, to us now. And then, people have more choice. So I think that these structural things are also constraining the benefits that we're getting from the recovery.